I was just super inspired to do a space. It's definitely something I haven't done in a really long time, but I'm kind of on this like journey of trying to figure out my purpose in the world. And as you know, May, I have done so many different things, and I'm just like, bruh, let's figure out the main one. Let's just do one and stick to it. So, it's really not a question about like big and grand like talents, but it's more about like what makes us as individuals unique and what lights you up and how you can contribute to like the world and just the people around you. And then it's really about like whether we're truly open to becoming those best versions of ourselves. As you may have seen, I've started strategic style, and a lot of it is like products or just tools that you can use to help with that journey, creating actionable plans to try and figure out what your gift is and what your untapped potential is that you haven't necessarily um, maybe figured out yet. And I think also through this journey, I've learned that that's always evolving. You're always kind of like changing your personality, changing your hopes and dreams, changing your interests. So it's never going to be something that's just like set. And sometimes it can be for some people, but for me, it's always been changing. So life's a little interesting in that way. But if you're willing to come up, I'd love to have like a small conversation about what you think your gift to the world is, because I mean, just looking from the outside in, I can definitely see some wonderful gifts that you offer to us as an X community. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. But um, one word that describes maybe like a quality that I feel I possess that often helps others is possibly like listener. I think I do really great at just kind of like listening and soaking in, and maybe even like finding a possible solution to things. Like I really find joy in the experimental process, like, why don't we try this? And then if it doesn't work, we'll try this. And if it does work, like, let's get the champagne. But sometimes our gifts can be so, what's the word? Like, so true to us or so obvious that we just like don't even see it because it's us, but like we didn't really think it was a gift, and then later we realize it and we're like, "Ah, aha." It's like an aha moment where someone else points it out and you never really realized you had it. So, um if anyone may, if you feel called to share what you believe your gift is, please request. But I definitely feel like just looking at the things you have to offer us on X, your gift, I think, is providing a place for people to feel safe, to express themselves, whether that's in music, movies, comedy, um, really great topics that we can kind of like converse on. I think you have like a spirit about you that really calms the presence or the vibes in the room that allows for really great conversations to happen. Like, I truly think people really respect you as a host and a leader in the community, that they gradually kind of are attracted to what you are gifting them and offering them in a unique experience. Um, so gifts can be really anything. It doesn't have to be like, I know how to play the piano or I know how to do a handstand or, I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there, but um, it could be the gift of making other people laugh, or connecting ideas or being super organized. Could be all kinds of different things. Um, but really, the second part, oh, okay. Thank you for supporting. Like, just you being there, throwing up the emojis really speaks levels to me. Um, but the second part to the question is, are you open to reaching your highest potential in this lifetime? And what does like highest potential even really mean to you? So, um, highest potential. Okay, so is reaching this potential a fixed destination or a continuous journey? So for me, I think it's both, you know, like when you have a goal to get to one place, you kind of have a fixed destination, but once you get there, it becomes a continuous journey. So it's a, like constantly learning, growing, and, you know, shedding off those things that maybe no longer serve us. But the key word really here is open. Like, are we truly open to like the challenges, the discomfort that comes with growth? And are we open to failure being a possible like stepping stone to this potential? And this is something that we've been talking a lot within my woman group that I was able to form through the church. And so we were talking about how sometimes we're not happy within our jobs. And for me, I've been laid off from so many jobs within the last 10 years that it almost feels like that's a trend for me. You know, like maybe I'm just not meant to have a job for more than 2 years because it's like feels impossible. I like really admire people who have jobs for 5, 10, 3. Like 3 is crazy for me. Like I have not even experienced that yet. But really, like, if I were to try and reach my highest potential career-wise, what would that look like for myself? And am I truly open to the possibility of losing that job or losing friendships at the job or maybe even taking an entire, "Hey, Ness, welcome in. Please come up as a speaker if you would like. Love to hear your input and just what your answers to the questions may be. But also feel free to just support in the listening area. That's fine too. Um, but really, are you willing to be open to those challenges that may be presented to you in order to get to that highest potential? So right now, it's like, are we consciously making moves to try and open up to that moment, that super special prize, that finish line, the championship game? I'm just like throwing out analogies now, but truly, like, you know, often our potential ties directly into expressing what that unique gift is. And I think sometimes we have it in our heads, you know, like it's like, yeah, yeah, I have gifts, you know, but like what? What is it? And then someone asks you and you're like, you know, like you're kind of stumbling on your words. Um, I think surrounding yourself around people that can help you to also figure out those gifts can be very impactful for you. Um, Navigating those blocks and really cultivating that openness can really help to be authentic. And, like, let's be real, being open is not always easy, especially if you have people who may be important in your life, but are not, mm, I would say, are maybe also the people who are providing those blocks. like family members who don't want you to be in San Diego, or friends who may not have the best compliments towards these great achievements that you're discovering throughout this journey. I want to take a break. Hi, Ness. Welcome in. So happy you could make it today.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm good. May is at work, so she's just in the listener section. But I'm really glad you came up as speaker because it's been rough. It's been rough talking to myself. But May
Oh, don't
throws up
worry.
the
It's totally
emojis.
fine. It's totally fine. I talk to myself all day long. It's totally okay. It's just not on recorded spaces anymore. But no. I appreciate you for letting me up, and I'm glad to see you're back on Twitter doing spaces again. That's a beautiful
Yes.
thing,
I was
you know.
inspired today. I was like on a space and they were kind of like talking about oh, I posted about it in the community, the AI. And so I kind of felt like in the past my spaces weren't so like structured, and I guess I get that we're on social media to have fun. Yes, yes, totally. But like in a marketing aspect, it's hard to stay focused on the goal of what I'm trying to like achieve in the space. So, Jess or Marceline, she suggested that I use AI to kind of help with guiding me through the conversation and even like suggesting what my goal is. So, as you all know, I'm starting Strategic Style, my newest endeavor. And it's really about me and my journey of trying to really do self reflection and trying to figure out my purpose and what I like to do, what I don't like to do, what I want, what I don't want. So it's been really cool just going through that process. And it's been so cool that I wanted to like, share it with others. So the space today is, what is your gift to this world? Wait, hold on. I had to cough. What is your gift to this world? And are you actually open to reaching the highest potential of that gift within this lifetime? So, of course, like we just said, that definitely means a lot of self-reflection, positive mindset, empowerment through community and support system. But it's really not just about what you're really good at, but also like the unique perspective of deeper meanings like empathy or passion or experiences and even challenges and the way you have been able to overcome them. So, for example, let's use Ness as an example. So, for Ness, getting to know you has been super rewarding. I definitely feel that you are an innovator, a leader, and although innovative leader can be already two impactful words, it's kind of small, like but profound. So in order to kind of dig deeper into what Ness's gifts could potentially be, we want to like expand on different details and descriptive adjectives of what or who Ness is. So, kind of thinking a little bit larger in the full picture, which is like Ness is a great listener. He is always this really good source of calmness. I always feel encouraged by him to continue what I'm doing in the spaces and to be really consistent in how I feel about whatever it is that I'm doing. Because Lord knows Ness, has experienced all my projects. And then even the challenges, like you're just very compassionate and you know how to connect with others and bring people joy through just friendship. So everyone has a gift, and sometimes it can just be so obvious to other people, but maybe not to ourselves. So, like, how do we recognize it? Like through feedback from others, figuring out what lights us up and what problems we feel compelled to maybe like solve in our life that we naturally excel at or bring comfort. So I hope, that was a little comforting and really a great experience to hear for you, Ness. Because it's true, you have been definitely a great support system through the journey of like figuring out what my purpose and gift is. So I'd love to maybe hear what you feel your gift is to this world, if you
Ooh.
feel inclined.
Okay, 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 okay,
Let's
okay.
say hi to Princeton. Hi, Princeton. Welcome in. Thanks for stopping by. If you want to also contribute to the space, feel free to request up or, support in the listening area. That's fine too. But go ahead, Ness. Sorry about that.
No, 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 you're fine. This is your space. I'm just here taking up space as usual. That's my purpose. Yes, my purpose is to take up space and like gather information. Yes, that's it. And give it to certain people. It's not for everyone. But all jokes aside, like it's hard sometimes for me to figure out what my gift is because I mean, like, you know, I am passionate about trying to help as many people as possible who actually deserve it. Like you deserve all the help you can because I see what you're doing. I see that you're trying to grow yourself as well as your brand, whatever that may be, right? And you're doing it in such a way where it's positive. You want to have a good support system near to you, and you would like constructive criticism, and that is good. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of people they don't see that, within themselves. Me, I'm an open book. I don't know what I am half the time. And I'm trying to keep my language clean, because it's a recorded space, and there might be children listening to this later. So yeah, you never know. You never know, right?
Yeah.
Um, for me, the first question I can't really answer. I don't know what my gift is, but I do like to help others when possible and if they deserve it. You definitely deserve it. You know what I'm saying? You've been thinking big business from the day I first saw you on my timeline. I'm like, yeah, this is a woman that thinks big, wants things done, and yes, she is growing, and this is good because she's growing with her brand, right? You went through several projects, but they all tie into what you are building for yourself,
Right.
right? But also for the people that you care for, your community, which
And
is a
I think
beautiful
they were
thing.
meant to, like, have an ending. Like, I think they were meant to, like, just be a part of that season, and then, like,
Mm.
"Okay, let's move on." I feel like it was more like an experimental phase in hopes that something comes bigger. But let's get back to, like, your gift. So, you had said, like, something along the lines of, like, taking up space, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I take up space.
no, no,
No,
but in a positive
I'm
way,
kidding.
like, truly you add to the conversation. Like, for example, May is at work, so she can't really come up to the speaker, but you have that willingness to contribute your voice, and honestly, your voice is something that can be so impactful that you really have to give yourself credit. The fact that you're confident in knowing that you contribute value to the conversation every single time, that's a gift. That's like being able to be confident and like also being able to know that you are intelligent, you are emotionally intelligent, like, and then I also notice even from past spaces that you are someone who doesn't take the BS. Like you like try to like provide like calm spaces to people, which can be kind of impossible sometimes with the energy and like the people that pop in, but ultimately you really desire that like intellectual conversation or like those deep topics, which says like speaks levels about you, because that means you're willing to offer your own experiences and your own knowledge on sharing that with someone else who may be going through it as well. And I mean, I think that's a gift, you know, that's a true gift to have. People sometimes are so closed off to sharing, especially their challenges and failures, that they don't want to maybe feel embarrassed or maybe feel that they're, I don't know, needing remorse from people. I definitely feel that way sometimes. So I truly think that maybe one of your gifts, if you also agree, go ahead. You don't have to raise your hand.
No, no, no. I do that out of respect. I do it out of
Okay,
respect.
well, thank
No,
you.
you're welcome. No, no, no. I do agree with something that you said that resonated with me a lot because I've been speaking about this with my therapist as of late.
Yeah,
Where you know I do a lot of crowd control. I've been like that
yeah.
since I was younger. I am so sorry for the background noise in
You're
advance if
good.
you
You're
happen to hear
good.
any. Most of you guys know, well, you know, and a few other people know, and whoever listens to this recording later, yes, I actually live in a homeless shelter, unfortunately, but this is only temporary. Hopefully, October, I'm out of here.
Amen.
But yeah, 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 this is only temporary. But I'll admit, I've had a large portion of my life that was challenged only because I was that closed off person. I was that
Mm,
person that had tunnel vision for a very long time. But then I'll never forget, and this happened to me during my incarceration, where this older gentleman was like, "Yo, dude, just fall back," and I'm like, "Huh?" And I listened to him after I said, "Huh," and I fell back and I started to see everything for what it really was. The tunnel vision went away. I started thinking more open minded, and I'm like, "Oh, so this is what it's like to fall back." Okay, cool, and it worked. And then I was like, okay, well, how do I now control the crowd without being my old self? Because my old self would have done something completely off the rail.
so does
We're not going
fall
to say what that
back
might have been.
mean like chill out? Like,
Yeah, it's just
okay.
chill out, remove yourself from the situation for a few seconds,
Yeah.
and look at it from the outside looking in,
Yeah. Like be
right?
more of a listener than a doer.
Right,
Okay.
right. And just observe everything around you and take it in,
Yeah.
you know. And me, I love Sherlock Holmes. So for a person like me, right, and for those that know what Sherlock Holmes operates, that's how I work, right? My
Mm.
brain will find the most finite detail that everyone overlooks, because everybody looks for the obvious. I don't look for the obvious. I want the most inobvious thing that's out there,
Oh,
and I'm
okay. Yeah.
listening for
Yeah.
it.
That makes sense.
Right. And then that's where I go to. Is I'm like, okay, that's what that person needs help with, but they don't see it yet because nobody pointed it out to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's where I come in.
You're like a problem
Um,
solver.
yes, yeah, yeah. Except that I still can't solve my own problems, but I can solve everybody else's.
Don't
How does
say
that work?
that,
I don't know.
bruh. You gotta
No,
be
this is
more positive about what's
no,
going
no, no. This
on.
is
You are
no, this is a
solved. The
fact.
fact that you said this is temporary, you're in the season of temporary, that's solving
Yeah.
problems. You could be like, you know what, I'm gonna be stuck here forever. I'm never gonna leave this
Oh no,
place. You are
no, 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 no,
definitely
no.
selling yourself short, dude.
No, 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 no. This is like being in this shelter is like being back in prison. I'm good. I'm trying to get away from this place.
Yeah,
That's why I said temporary.
exactly.
But
We
you
speak
know,
that in the name of Jesus.
but no, but as to my gifts, I would say like I do have the gift of positivity. Right, I can be negative. Trust me, I can.
I mean, we all,
Especially when
it's
I do my
natural. It's
rants.
nature.
Yeah, it's all nature, right? Exactly. But I know how to spin that negative into a positive too,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
And that's something that a lot of people cannot do. A lot of
That's
people
true.
cannot turn I was saying so. For me, yes, I live in a negative place, but I spin into a positive because I'm like, okay, I got my own little area way in the back of the row here where I'm at in my shelter, right?
Yeah.
Where I got my own little corner. I could put my headphones on and
Yes.
nobody else
You're
exists.
making the best out of a difficult situation.
Exactly, and this is what I try to tell people. So you never know what nobody else is going through. I never
Uh-huh.
know what nobody else is going through. Nobody else. No, I don't know what the next person may be thinking, what they're going through in their lives. You know what I'm saying? They might have had
Yeah.
divorce, or they might have lost their kid or a parent or something like that, or a loved one, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what they're going through. And so what I do is I observe what's going on, and then I just give them a happy little cheerful laugh, something to make them laugh. And
Yeah.
like I tell a lot of the old folks in here, you know what I'm saying? Like if I can make at least 2 to 3 old people laugh, I'm a happy camper the rest of the day.
Hey,
And
that's a good outlook.
and right,
Good way
and
to start your
that
week, your day.
exactly. No,
Yeah.
it's not just that. It's that I look for the simple things,
Uh-huh.
right? I can I used to be. I don't know if you ever heard the story of the sophisticate and the simpleton. Well, I used to be the sophisticate, and now I'm the simpleton. The simpleton is the guy that is happy with what he has now.
Okay.
The sophisticate wants everything that wants to be
Okay.
everything. He
Yeah.
wants his name on. He wants to be the flashy guy. His name on lights. He wants to be the diva.
Right,
That's
right.
not me anymore. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that's just living a simple life,
Minimalist,
doesn't care, exactly, and just is enjoying what he has in front of him.
for
I'm
sure.
happy I got food. I got a roof over my head. Lots of people can't say that,
Yeah, that's very
right?
true.
I get food in my belly. Lots of people can't say that, but I'm happy with it. I get to wake up every morning with my sight, my hearing. I get my sense of smell, my taste, my touch. I get to do small things like that, and I'm a happy camper.
Woo! Amen. You
Me,
are speaking the truth.
right,
Like, I think
right,
sometimes
and
we
those
forget to look at the small things in our life and because we want
exactly.
such big things. But yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that. I feel like
Oh,
you
of course.
definitely opened up to um the community and just letting people know what you're going through is powerful because you may be helping the next person right next to you. So, thank you. Thank you so
I
much
hope.
for sharing.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I did want to say what's up to the Green 610. Thank you for being here. Juice, hello. And then Princeton, I know you came up as a speaker. Did you want to maybe share what your gift is that you feel might be, you know, for yourself that you can give to this world?
Oh man, well, thank you for the introduction. Pleasure being here. Thanks for letting me up. Shout out to Ness with just all the graceful things he was saying. It sounds like he's fighting through a lot of adversity, and that's what you can do in this world when you're going through something, you know? So like keep that up. For me, yeah, I mean, it's I can't really say or pinpoint an exact gift. I just know that um whatever I'm going through, I always lean on Jesus no matter what. Like no matter what, right?
Yes.
Like if
Yep.
I'm going through something, I'm quick to go to prayer every single time because God is always going to favor the broken, right? Anyone
Mm,
who walks around here and is being prideful with ego and thinking like, "Oh, I got this. I can figure out a way without him." Well, it never really ends up the way that you think, right? But
uh-huh.
that's just me. So at the end of the day, I'm always going to come to Jesus as that broken person no matter what's going on, right? If I'm seeing myself, I'm about to get into an argument, I'm gonna put that on pause and I'm gonna say, hold on, I got to take this to Jesus. Like I'll say that, like, hey, I'm gonna take this to Jesus. I'll be right back.
I
And you
love
can see
that.
that person. You can see that person like, what? Like we were just arguing, and now you about to go take it to Jesus. It either makes them really mad or it makes them think about their life for a second. Other than that, it's also just knowing what what you think about daily, right? Because it's like what you water is what grows. So think
Mm,
about what you're watering on a daily. If you're constantly watering anger, right, it's going to grow into an anger plant if you want to see it in
right.
this way. If you're constantly watering happiness, well, what do you think you're going to get? You're going to get a happiness plant. And you can, that's just one metaphor. There's so many ways to look at it. But I just think you got to watch what you're watering and always realize what you're watering because you may wake up and like sometimes for me like as much as I want to lean on God and lean on Jesus, I don't always wake up and do that. Like I might
Yeah.
wake up and open up my phone instead of the Bible app and get
Mhm.
lost in the sauce with everything on the timeline. I might get caught up in temptation. I might get caught up in lust because that's what I'm seeing, and I have to sometimes rewind and get my brain back and like, yo, what is my purpose? What is my mission? What am I doing today? Right. And it's just for me, it's all about moving forward. If I'm catching myself not moving forward, I'm not progressing, and I'm just constantly backtracking. That's where I have to stop myself. I'm like, okay, right now in this moment, what's gonna help me move forward? And that's what I kind of pinpoint on. And it's not easy, you know. I have a wife, I have a 6-year-old son, so it's so easy to get distracted with worldly things. And I think at the end of the day, if you're pushing forward with anything you're doing, that's always better than getting lost and trying to figure out, well, woe is me, or I'm sad, or things that are going to either keep you in one place or put you back. That, like, I try to keep it as simple. I'm a simple person that, I don't care about all the flashy things. I probably been wearing the same clothes for the past 3 to 4 years and I haven't even noticed, right? Because I'm just so caught up in my spiritual growth and so caught up in making sure everyone in my life is growing. That's all I care about, you know?
Yeah, I really like what you said about what you water is what grows. I definitely think, like, just from listening you, you can really maybe even have the gift of like resiliency, like bouncing back and kind of like having those good reflexes when times get rough, because when you have a gift or when things are even going really great in life, that's like the primal moment for things to start slipping up, those challenges to start coming up, the devil to try and, bring you down. But um I actually heard a sermon once that was about how we will go to the next person to ask for advice instead of immediately going to Jesus or immediately taking it to the Lord, immediately going to prayer. You'll be like, "Hey, mom, what do you think about this?" Or like, "I'm going through this thing, so and so, like, what do you think?" And it's like, we rather go to the flesh, the people of this world who may not even have your best interest in mind, instead of going to the absolute source of the actual problem and figuring it out with him. I know that for some people, if you're not super spiritual or you don't attend church, that might be hard to really grasp. But honestly, there are so many times in my own personal life that I have felt like there was no way that I did that. Like I don't know how things are working out, but all I know is that I took it to God and I literally talked to him every single day about this problem I had, and somehow it worked out. Like I mean, I won't say like there wasn't any challenges and it wasn't really friggin' hard, but it did. It worked out. And I think sometimes, there's that question of like, why does God if God's so good, why does he make bad things happen? And for a long time, I struggled with that question, especially when other people around me would tell me that, because I've experienced, bad and good. I would like to commit to saying that the good was definitely given to me by the Father, but the bad, is sometimes it can be so bad that you're just like, why would you do this to me? And unfortunately, some of those bad things don't always go in the way we'd like it to. But when I think back of every bad thing that might have happened in my own personal life, there was always a reason. There was always um, something that it was meant to help grow. It was meant to prepare me for. I struggle with um, I struggle with something that helps or not helps, really makes it friggin' difficult to decipher between reality and imaginary. And so it involves a lot of hallucinating sometimes. It involves a lot of bad choices I may have made in my past. And from the simplest thing of like someone saying to me a basic sentence, I can take that sentence and evolve this entire narrative of why that sentence was said to me. And it really it really messes with your mind, because um, it starts to become almost like delusional. You're just kind of like freaking out about this really basic sentence. Like it could be like, "What's your favorite color?" And then I'm like, why would you ask me that? When really that's a normal thing to ask people, but for me, it's like I always have to analyze everything. And it truly, now that I've learned so much about myself and what this thing that I struggle with is, it truly has a lot to do with the decisions I've made in my past, whether that's, involving with bad habits or maybe negative people. And at one point, I thought, why did I do that to myself? I was like a golden person, As a kid, you're like this pure thing that the world has and you get to college and you separate yourself from this pureness and you indulge in certain things, you do the life things, and you meet people, you learn things. And I, for a long time, was embarrassed because I felt like I couldn't be proud of my past. I couldn't say like I went through all this and now I'm this, because I felt like my present wasn't meeting up to the standards that I wanted for my own life. And so I went through a really bad depression and I started to feel helpless and wanting to figure out what makes me happy again. And, you know, I grew up in the church, so I think a lot of my memories when I was happy was involving when I was at church camp or when I went to youth group. When I was around people that were positive for me, that was like my happiest moments. And so I started writing little letters to God and being super honest and super truthful with how I felt. And sometimes even swearing at him, sometimes even talking down to him and being like, you suck. And it was kind of rewarding for me because I was able to really speak my truth and be honest with someone who just wants a relationship with you, who just wants you to talk to him. And I told this girl once at last week at my small group for our church. I told her she was going through a hard time, so I told her, "What if God threw this challenge at you because he just wants to like talk to you?" And she was like, "Whoa." And I was like, I mean, think about it. Like our parents, like they think you're on the phone too much, so they take away your phone, and that's like the hardest thing. And then it's like, well, I just wanted you to spend more time with me. And so I love Princeton that you brought up Jesus because like tell me about Jesus and I will go off. But I know some people may not resonate with that. But I think just from you expressing that and you sharing how he's worked in your life is definitely a gift. Discipleship, definitely something that this world needs and could even benefit from. So I really appreciate you saying that. Go ahead.
Well, with every, so-called beautiful story, there's always hardship,
Amen. Yep.
testimony, right? Like I didn't get here by being the perfect person, like, and yet I'm still not this perfect person that I may look or sound like. I had to go through all these hardships. So, like you, and maybe other people in this room who are listening, I went through. I've probably done everything you can think of when it comes to drugs or sexual sin. I mean, everything you can think of, right? Just because I wasn't really walking in my faith, I didn't know Jesus like that, and I think I went through a lot of epiphanies in my life. There was one time I got kidnapped, and I thought that epiphany after getting kidnapped was leaning towards astrology. I started leaning toward astrology. And what I was actually yearning, looking back now, what I was yearning for a relationship with a spiritual power. And that spiritual power was Jesus, it was God. But I didn't know it back then. So through my journey of learning astrology, understanding numerology and what all these zodiac signs meant and what all these numbers meant, I thought I was actually, and for a moment there, I really thought I was like some expert in astrology, some expert in numerology, where I was like, hey, I know this number. I see, oh, look at that. It's 1111, make a wish, or 1111 means this. Like I understood what these numbers meant, but I also realized as I grew closer in faith is that you have to learn how to discern yourself with certain things, because the simple outlook or viewpoint on this is when you're super comfortable through your life and everything feels like it's coasting, that's actually not good, because that's what the devil wants. The devil wants you to feel comfortable throughout your whole life and just leading you down that path of sin. But with Jesus, you're living that life, that Jesus life. You're walking in faith. It is going to be a struggle every single day. There's nothing easy about it. It is so hard. Even stopping yourself and saying, "I need to go pray right now," that is never easy. Nothing comes easy when you're walking in faith. Not a single thing. And that's how you know when you know you're walking in faith. And even when you are looking at a worldly viewpoint, because I stopped trying to take worldly advice from people or worldly advice from just like I'm going on YouTube and I'm like, oh, let me listen to this man, right? Because just like how you mentioned, that's a verse in the Bible. I don't know the actual book and chapter, but it's dangerous to follow man, because man will lead you down sin quicker than you following Jesus. Jesus will never lead you down that path, right? So us leaning on, I'm not saying to not lean on each other for advice, right? But like point them in the direction. Like this advice doesn't come from me. This advice comes from our Father, right? And if you don't believe in Him, I feel like you need to. You truly need to. And if you don't, and you can right now, he still loves you no matter what. And that's the best thing about it. He's like almost waiting for you to just say, I give up. I relinquish my whole
Mhm,
life to you, right? He's going to love you no matter what, even till the last minute, your last breath on this earth, and you finally profess that Jesus is Lord. He's still going to love you no matter what, because he knew it. He already knows. He knows exactly what is in our heart. He knows exactly when we stand up, when we sit down, what we eat. He knows everything. He knows when we're hungry. And
mhm,
and again, for some people who don't believe, I can see how it's hard, because there's a
yeah,
time in my life where I was like, you're telling me to pray to someone that I can't even see, right? But then
mhm,
as I read the Bible, it was like, okay, Jesus is not just some figure. There's evidence of this guy who died and he rose 3 days later from the grave. So
mhm.
you're telling me, who am I going to believe? Am I going to believe man who will die and wither away, or am I going to believe in the guy that literally died and rose up 3 days later? You tell me, right?
Yeah,
But
I think it definitely takes that, like, this is the only I mean, what else can I do? Like, let's try this, and, I mean, although I grew up in the church, I've had many of those moments where I'm like, "Ugh, okay, let me try this God thing again," and it always works out. I don't know how to explain it to you, but before we continue the topic, I did want to say hi to Juice and the Benevolent King. What's up, Juice? Long time no see. Are you there? Juice, Juicy Juice, Juicy Juice.
Yep, yep, I'm here. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I was in the kitchen stuffing my face.
Oh
Sorry,
shoot,
guys.
sorry. If you want, I can let the Benevolent King go first, and you can continue to eat.
No, no, you good. I love the conversation. I had it really loud around the house, and I was just eating it. I was like, "Oh snap! Let me go get that." I hope y'all good. I just wanted to say hi, man. I hope everybody is good, and happy Father's Day to everybody.
Yes, happy
And
Father's Day.
sending blessings too. God bless.
Amen. Yeah. Did you want to maybe share what you think your gift is before we move on?
Yeah, I don't mind speaking on that. I'll first of all I'll say this, like I'm not entirely 100% like surely 100% knowing like this is my gift,
Yeah, yeah.
because along my journey, I would say in my life, I always wondered like what my purpose was. Um
Yeah.
and honestly, I'll tell it to you like this, how I found out what it was, because I feel like my purpose is to help others. And the reason why I say that is because it started with me starting with personal training, and then I completely stopped doing personal training and started doing shelter work and working with homeless people and people who are addicted to drugs or alcohol and substances. And I found myself just shifting to doing youth speaking And honestly, guys, like I kid you not, I was just like I trade and stuff like that. So I stopped working when things started going good on that side, and I was like, all right, I want to not sit home and just go home and then go train, and I want to do something that makes me feel like I have purpose. And I found myself just back going to just like talking to kids, letting them know like, unfortunately there's a lot of kids that run away from home because they don't feel like they're understood. They don't like rules, or it's a lot of things, and I want to let them know it's like, you don't have to be that type of kid who's like, okay, I feel like my parents don't understand me, like help them understand or find
Mhm.
ways, because running away isn't the answer,
Mhm.
because you might go out to the world and something worse happens to you, you know. And I recently I just signed up for school as well,
Awesome.
for ECA. It's early childhood assistant.
Okay.
My sister's doing it, and I was just chilling with her one time when she was just at the daycare, taking care of the kids, because she's a manager there, and she was like, "Hey, do this, do this, do this for certificate, and go to school for about 7 months, and you can work here with me." And I found it fun, it's like the only hard part is like you gotta stop them from putting things in their mouths because they're kids, they like to just they think everything is edible, but it's just like that's just like I don't know. I found myself through life just helping others, whether it's someone who's elderly, whether it's someone who's mature, whether it's someone who's young or just a baby. And I don't know. I just found myself doing that, and I thought back then I was like, nah, that's not a role. It's not something you can say is a purpose, but or a gift, but it is, because there's a lot of people like, they may go to other millions of other people and they may not understand something, and they come to you and they understand it,
Mhm.
and it could be so different. And these are the things that help me like understand, like, okay. And I also prayed on it, because I'm a Christian as well, and I believe, like, I strongly believe when I can't find the answer to something, I pray.
Mhm.
And I don't always get it right away, which is that's not how it works, but things come in my view, or thoughts, or people, or conversations that I have, or things that I read help me find the answer,
Yeah.
you know? And that's why I'd say, like, because I've always had people come around me, and they genuinely want help, whether it's like, hey, I want to learn how to eat better. Hey, I want to learn how to not take negativity so strong, not to always be react. Like, for example, there's something that I'm working on. I know uh a lot of people work on this too. Not be reactive to everything.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And it's like I know the difference now, because a few months ago, yeah, I was reactive to a lot of things that didn't need to be
Yeah.
reacted to. And now I don't really react to them, and I'm just like, I no longer wake up and stress myself to the point where, like, I'm going to stress the next day, if you
Yeah.
get what I mean, or I'm gonna
Like
start
pick
my
and choose
day.
your battles.
Yeah. So like these things, like I'm like, man, I got 12 to 24 hours, So you're
Yeah,
gonna
life's
sit here
short.
and let you're gonna sit here and let a 5 minute or 10 minute, something bother you when you have the rest of the day. Yeah, it may be something like, it's like, oh, why would this happen to me? I used to have that type of mindset, like, why me? Like, why is this happening to me? But now
Mhm.
I kind of shifted to where it's like, okay, if this does happen to me, you got to be durable enough and mindful enough to be like, all right, you can't let this suck up your day, man. You can't let this ruin
Yeah.
the moment, or the entire other moments, So it's like I learned to, I would say, manage whatever it is, distress, anger, like there's a lot of things I know I no longer get even upset about, like, little things. Like, for example, I live in a condo building, and people come in and out of the elevator. And nowadays, people don't really have elevator courtesy, where it's like if you're coming out, it's like a bunch of them budging in, like about to come in.
Yeah.
And it's like these things I don't even like flinch at it anymore. I used to be
Yeah.
like, come on, man, like, y'all don't know, like, y'all don't expect somebody who's gonna come out of the elevators. Y'all ready to just, bulldoze in? I don't even do like be like that. Like when I'm mentally talking to myself, I don't even be like that no more. So I'm just like, all right, I'm working on some things. Like these are working.
Yeah. It sounds like your gift could, if it were to be a word, I'd say it was like teacher. I think you are able to share your experience that you may have gone through in life to teach others. And what better student than the younger generation, you know? And the fact that you're being put in multiple age groups, I think is definitely preparing you for a bigger purpose, and I think you're getting closer and closer to that purpose because of the work you're putting in. And not necessarily, you know, taking the classes or going back to school, but like the inner self, the self love, the real like inner well being, that work I think is going to help you go far with this role that he's trying to give you, that teacher role, that leader role, that um, also needs that balance, that peace that you are discovering in yourself that you're able to manage a little bit more. So, yeah, that's awesome. That's so awesome. I actually really wanted to work with youth too, but I think sometimes my that peace, that balance is not like it's not there yet. But um thank you so much, Juice. I really appreciate it. Love seeing you in the room. Thanks for stopping by, spending time with us because you could be anywhere, but you chose to be here. So I'm really glad you stopped by. And now the benevolent king. What's up?
You're what's good?
You're so thank you for sticking around. You've been a busy guy today.
I know life doesn't stop.
Yeah. Well, that means you had some good amount of time to maybe answer the question of what you think
Yeah.
your gift might be. And it's okay if you don't know it either, but maybe we could,
Mhm.
you know, talk about some things that you like doing or that you were able to accomplish that
Mhm.
can help discover that. Or maybe you already know. What do you think?
Yeah. Um. I think there's two thoughts that entered my head. One is that you may think your gift is one thing, but your gift is something else.
Hey, yep.
Um.
Mhm.
Or like you may want your gift to be one thing, but your gift is
Oh,
something
shoot,
else.
that's that part.
Um. And for myself, what is my gift to the world? So I think it's wrapped up in what I do. My job outside of my job is that I write songs. So a lot of times I'm a medium. I'll just use the word medium for others.
Yeah,
I'm helping them
a vessel.
commute. Yeah, I'm a vessel, right? So like I'm helping people articulate their ideas, their thoughts.
Mhm.
Um, and a lot of times, like I'll write something and it'll have no home.
Mm,
And then a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, 4 years later, it'll find a home with someone.
yeah.
And it just is what they needed at that specific time, you know? So I think my gift to the world is wrapped up in my ability to communicate. Um,
Mhm.
and I think with communicating, I'm able to help people connect to not only themselves, but to connect to others through communication.
Yeah,
Um,
or even like the word create, you
mhm,
know, like you can maybe in a way that someone wants to share something that they can't necessarily put words to, you have that gift to kind of provide it even like subconsciously or unknowingly to that person, that you're able to kind of like produce something that resonates with people.
mhm.
That's awesome too,
Yeah.
because like that just speaks levels to your own personal journey, you know, that
Mhm,
like the fact that you can put words that are so deep and touching to people that it can turn into music. That's huge, you know, like
mhm.
it almost reminds me of like poetry, you know, like being able to express yourselves and like be able to speak it into existence into like an audience and like have the whole
Yeah.
room just resonate with you. That's awesome. And music, I mean, music is one I don't know if you saw the movie Sinners, but my favorite part about that movie was the part where music was really able to tap in to a
Mhm.
deeper level of, I mean, there obviously there's some downfalls to the movie, of course, but when I saw it, I really enjoyed the part where Preacher Boy plays his blues, his song, and he was able to tap into like different generations of music and like even tap into ancestors and be able to connect with people on a deeper level.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, it did lead him to some downfalls, but um, I think that's really awesome that people can really like resonate so much with music that almost it's kind of dangerous. It's kind of scary to be honest too. But thank you. So
Mhm.
did you is it okay if I move to lead with logic, or did you have like anything else you wanted to
No,
add?
uh, no, it's fine. Of course.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing. That's really awesome
Mhm.
that you're identifying, that part of you in such a deeper meaning. Lead with logic. What's up?
Peace, peace. One, two, one, two. Is the microphone on?
Yes. Say it louder for the people in the back.
Peace, peace. What's going on, man? Peace to the room. Peace to everybody. Happy Father's Day. Happy Pappy's Day. Happy Tie and Socks Day for those who have who happen to be a dad like myself. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, I'm a
I
dad.
was like, what?
Yeah, I'm a pappy. It's Father's Day. But nonetheless, a few things. First and foremost, I want to say I appreciate you doing the space, Megs. You're always doing super big things here on X. You're a bright light for the people in a world full of darkness on X. It's good to see the light. I saw the light. This is a very insightful and a very right. Jump there. Very insightful and very informative. These are the type of talks. If you're gonna be on X all day, at least be on X engaged in something like this. Don't be
Mm,
on there no tomfoolery, right? I can't
yes.
see staying anywhere. The same people who wouldn't go work at McDonald's for $10 an hour would sit on X for free 99, right? Go figure. Anyhow, let me say this. What is your gift to this world? Are you open to reaching your highest potential in this life? That is so, so profound, and it goes together. I think it's beautiful how you did that, Megs. My gift to the world would be teaching. I'm a poor righteous teacher. Um, I like offering people knowledge, wisdom, and understanding on whatever topic that I see or that I observe is might be lacking, or the people might need to reach their highest potential. The greatest feeling in life is not sex, you guys. I know it's hard. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. It is not a fat bank account. Please, the rest of you who agreed with the sex, the other ones that don't, that you might not agree with that. It's not money. I promise you. It's sharing with the world, right? It's giving of your time. It's giving of your talents, and it's giving of your purpose, right? And so, whatever it is, I think I heard somebody say that their purpose was poetry. That's communicating to the soul. Poetry is nothing but words from one person's soul that reach another one. And so I'm a poet myself. So I know, but but nonetheless, yeah, really just teaching. And am I open to my highest potential in this life? Absolutely. But that's like peculiar. That's tricky because oftentimes we have to have an odyssey. We have to go through something to even realize or actualize what our highest potential is. Some people have to hit rock bottom. Some people have to go through something traumatic. Some people have to learn, right? Some people, it can take a lifetime or what seems to be that in order for us to reach our highest potential. So I'm absolutely willing and open. I'm going to say that and I'm going to be quiet. I'm absolutely willing and open to reach my highest potential. And hopefully I will help someone else do the same. Megs, I appreciate you allowing me this time on the microphone. You're such a beautifully and beautiful host with beautiful topics. Keep doing it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the encouragement. Like, I totally agree 100%. Your gift is totally teacher, leader, you know, um, person of I wanna say, like, sharing things that are, like, not always visibly known to the average person. Like, every time I reach your space, I'm like, "What?" You know, like, I'm just like, "Where did he find this? Like, how did I not see it? I don't understand where this came from," but it's, like, true, and it's awesome that you can use, the facts and really, I wanna say, like, even it reminds me of, like, investigation or, like, really digging deep into, like, criminology of, like, what is the source? What is the reason? What are the facts? And why did we come to this outcome? So you're definitely a teacher. I truly support that. And
And
lead
Meg, can I say this, Megs, real quick? Forgive me for
Yeah, no, 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 go
keep
ahead.
this thought. I was just gonna tell everybody what Megs is saying. Megs isn't sharing with you guys. They made a movie about me in 1985 called The Golden Child. I wasn't the child, but I was Chandler Gerald. Eddie Murphy played that role when he went and got the knife. That's how. That's what she means by that. And so, no, I'm just teasing, which I'm totally teasing. Hey, critical thought is
I'm like,
critical
"Whoa."
thought. They're like, what
I
the hell is the Golden Child?
I was like, "You were in a movie in 1985?
No,
Dang."
no, 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 no. It's a funny movie, but no, that absolutely critical thought is a part of helping people
Yeah,
uncover
you
truth.
challenge people to really, get to know the world, get to know, what we're up against, the kind of people that the world offers, And so we were actually talking also about whether and you said it too, like, you are definitely open to reaching your highest potential, and I totally encourage everyone here to do the same. It sounds like you guys are all already doing that. So I'm super proud to, have you in the room and just have such an awesome conversation. Like this was like an unexpected space and it was actually a plus plus plus. Okay. Ness, do you have your hand up? Can't tell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do, I do,
Okay.
I do. Cause nah. I put my hand up as soon as brother mentioned Golden Child. Like, bruh, I grew up on that movie, man. Like, come on, man. Like, you making me date myself on X. No, I'm kidding. Everybody knows I'm 10,000 years old. But nah, that probably was you, cause you kind of like do have that deep baritone voice. You know what I'm saying? When you're like, I want the knife. Yeah, yeah. That was probably you doing that for Eddie Murphy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't think that was fully Eddie. I think that was more you. Yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that. But now, all jokes aside, though, no, no, but I did want to say something else. So, in terms of like me, what I'm, how am I reaching my highest potential?
Uh-huh.
I've already reached it, but what I'm seeking now is more knowledge. I could care less about reaching my own highest potential. I want to reach my now. I want to reach knowledge that is more esoteric in nature. You know what I'm saying? That's me. I've been like that since I was a kid, right? So because it's not for everyone. That's the beautiful thing. This is why I go for the most unattainable things possible, because it's not for everyone, right? So
Uh-huh.
me, I look for knowledge in like the strangest places, and I like to share it with some people, not everyone, because it's not meant for everybody. But those who it's meant for, they tend to gravitate to me when I say something. They're like, "Yo, bro, you got knowledge yourself," and I'm like, "Yes, I do.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I do. I got knowledge yourself." But
I
you
do
know,
want to say though that
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
it is great that you're super energized and willing to learn from so many different outlets, but I do want you to also be aware that not everyone um is intentional in the way that they're sharing knowledge or sharing things to get you to your highest potential. You may think, and it may be true that you are at your highest potential, but I'd argue that the fact that you want to gain more knowledge maybe means that you are trying to reach the highest potential. You know what I'm saying? So you might be at the highest,
Exactly.
but you need to
No.
get to the next level highest.
Well, I'm looking for something that's not of this world, like things that people are
Yeah.
still trying to research, scientists are still trying to figure out. Like,
Well, that's
we're
where I'm
still trying to
saying
figure
you
out
gotta
the
be
right.
careful because things of
No,
the
no, no.
flesh can be
Oh no, no, no.
dangerous.
I am beyond the flesh. I'm way beyond that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm way beyond that. I'm Jewish. I'm far beyond that. I'll be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Because I've studied
Yeah.
mysticism from Judaism to Christianity to all of it.
Uh-huh.
I've studied all the mysticisms. Now it's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm on a different plane now of where I want my knowledge to come from. I don't want my knowledge to come from this planet. I know everything that's on this planet. I know things that people don't know about this planet in this world. I know it already. I don't want the material stuff. I want the stuff that is unreachable. You
Right.
know,
Okay.
the things that only God can give to you. That's the knowledge I want, and He's given it to me in slow doses, very small doses, but it comes. But
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, that it's just beautiful, just to have that. You know what I'm saying? To have that and know that you can access it at any given time.
For
That's what I try
sure.
to tell people. Like, I don't care what you believe in. Whether you believe in Jesus, believe in God, believe in Muhammad, whoever. It doesn't matter. You believe in something that's powerful than you are, more powerful than you are, and you will succeed in anything you want in your life. Except for the devil. That dude is not going to give you squat. I'm going to tell you that right now. I know
Yeah.
that for a fact. Me and him, he still owes me money, but we're not going there right now. Yeah. He made a bet with me, he lost. So, ha, sucker. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, thank you.
But
Thank you for
you're
sharing.
welcome.
You honestly have brought a really great point to the conversation. And that honestly, like, brings up maybe my dog's getting a little restless. So that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to wrap it up, unfortunately. But we've talked about gifts. We've talked about the potential that we all have within our own personal journeys and even the blocks that we might have experienced along the way. So I'd like to maybe even wrap it up by asking one last question to try and provide some actionable steps because we all need to take some steps for the action plan. So, with listening to today and our conversation, um, maybe we could offer up the question of one actionable step that we would encourage the next person to help acknowledge what their gifts are even more, or maybe how they can open up themselves to their highest potential and maybe like a practical tip or tool that you found super helpful for staying on course within your own personal growth or even actively as you're using this gift that you are blessed with. Um, if you don't want to share, that's totally fine. But looks like Princeton, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's very simple. Humble yourself. I
Hmm.
found myself, I used to be very egotistical, very, what's the word? Like, I always felt like I was on like on a high horse for whatever reason. Just because I may have been good at something, or maybe I was good at knowing something and stuff. And I failed time after time after time. And again, getting closer to my faith, I learned to just humble myself, not because I wasn't good at something, not because I was afraid of being better than someone or anything like that. I think when I say humble yourself, I mean just you don't try to know everything, because knowing everything could almost kind of like stunt the journey that you're trying to be on, right? Where you're just saying like, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to know all this. And then when you finally get all that, it's like, wow, I did it. And not like, what's next, right? What's next? You almost feel like there is nothing next because you almost like self-fulfilled what you're looking for. So if you try to humble yourself, right, those answers that or the journey that you're on will just naturally come to you without you even having to look. Like it'll just fall in your lap. You just have to be able to look at the signs. Like I felt like you sending the DM of this space was a sign for me to be amongst everybody and hear all these different viewpoints on everybody's life, and to also be able to like discuss mine, and hopefully someone hears and it helps. But that's it. Like leaving it with that. Humble yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. Ness, go ahead.
Yeah, no. Actually, I'm glad you pointed that out. Um,
Yeah,
Princeton. Okay.
yeah, you can call me
Yeah.
Princeton, you can call me Jupe Dad. It's all good.
Okay. All right. No, no, I appreciate that. But no, you hit it on the head because that's why I tell people like me, my dreams are so unattainable that I know that I can attain them. That's the crazy part. But because I have that knowledge, I know I don't want to obtain them either. You feel what I'm saying? Because you're right. Like I tell people, you don't want to know everything. Like I know a lot of things that I wish I didn't know. But at the same time, I'm glad I do because like, all right, you know what? Maybe it might come in handy one day when I like share it with somebody, right? And maybe I can give that as a gift to somebody else, right? Because I don't want it back. I tell people pay it forward. But what I tell people is to always just be their best version of themselves. No matter what that may seem like or look like in the mirror, forget the mirror, forget the cameras, forget all that stuff. Be the best version of yourself for you, not for anyone else, just for you. So if you could do that, I'll ride with you all day. But if you're trying too hard to impress everybody else, I can't jack that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that type of person. I'd rather the person just be the best version of themselves without having the filters, nothing like that. No, no, no. Forget all that stuff. Just be you. Be your genuine self. Like I see that with Megs. She's from day one since I met her on the timeline has been herself, and I'm like, that is beautiful, and that's what I love to see about people because I get to see who they are, how they grow, right? And for me, when people see me, I don't care if they see my pictures. I want them to hear the music that I make, the beats that I make. I want them to look at the art that I make and go, huh, he does have a good eye. He has a great ear. He has a sense of imagination and he has knowledge because I can hear it, I can see it, you know. So hopefully the listeners that catch on to this recording later hear all this and walk away with something nice in their brains. And if they don't, that's okay. But it is what. Thank you, Megs, for hosting this space. Appreciate you.
For sure, it's been a super incredible like conversation with everyone who tuned in. I'm really thankful for everyone's insights, your vulnerability especially, and just your willingness to engage with this powerful topic because it is a tough question and you guys were willing to dig deep and really share what your gifts are and even offer tools to help us all strive for our fullest highest potential to essentially make the world a better place hopefully. But I just want to remind everyone for the purpose of like future YouTube channel postings, we do have a YouTube channel called The Strategic Style, and you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll have this space up there shortly, hopefully not too long because these spaces do take long to download. But if you did enjoy this, please give us a follow at the Strategic Styler in the title. Visit our website, which is in the bio of my profile. We do have some products that you can explore that help to maybe guide you through that process of figuring out your goals, your gifts, and other resources that can help you plan today for your future. And lastly, consider sharing this space with a friend who might benefit from this super insightful conversation. Thank you again to Ness and Jupe Dad for joining and sharing your last thoughts. Keep nurturing those gifts, keep opening up to your highest potential, and hopefully, we'll see you guys in our future spaces. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Likewise,
Bye.
Megs. Keep opening up these spaces. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Later.